Adding jobs to a customer. After we have set up our pattern jobs, we can now add jobs to our customers. Select Customer List and find the customer number. Select the Jobs tab. Because there are no jobs yet, this customer list is empty. To add a job, select the Add. You will see a list of the pattern jobs you set up. Select the pattern jobs for all the services you provide for this customer by either hitting the spacebar or clicking on the checkbox next to the job you want. You can select as many jobs as you need. We will select job number 1 and job number 3. Select the Copy Jobs button. In the job list, you will now see the jobs we just added. We must now edit the details and scheduling of these jobs so that they are set up specifically for this customer. Select the first job in the job list and then select the Job Detail tab. We will only discuss the fields that are necessary for running CLIPxe. You can skip the other fields for this initial setup of CLIPxe. After mastering the basics and learning from the Help menu built into the program, you can then go back to your jobs and fill in any fields needed for more advanced uses of CLIPxe. The job description already is filled in from the pattern. Do not change the description. If the job is not listed on your pattern job list, do not add a blank. Stop what you are doing and go to the pattern jobs and add it as a job pattern. Then come back to this customer and copy it in. Changing the job description will not prevent CLIPxe from running, but many reports and features may be inaccurate. One of the most important is the job costing report. This report tells you who and what makes you the most money. The custom fields, such as job type, custom letters, and custom numbers, can all be skipped for this initial setup. When you have mastered the content of the tutorial, check the help in the program for a detailed explanation of custom fields. In the crew number, enter the crew that will be performing this job. Each crew number will generate a separate route sheet. CLIPxe can accommodate up to 9,999 crew numbers. Usually a crew represents a different truck, but you can also use it for other purposes. The routing sequence number is what tells CLIPxe the order in which the crew will perform this job in relation to other jobs. In order to understand routing functions in CLIPxe, you must first make sure that you do not confuse routing with scheduling. They are not the same. Scheduling answers the question, what day, week, season, or year should I do this job? Whereas routing answers the questions, what geographical position is the job in relation to other jobs? Or what order should the jobs on the route sheet be? The difference between routing and scheduling is very important to remember. There are two ways of doing this. If you own Microsoft MapPoint, you can have MapPoint automatically route all your customers. The other method is manual routing. To do this, lay out a map of the area you service. Place markers for every property you service. Then decide which route you would take if you were going to visit each and every property in one day. Then assign the first property a routing sequence number of 10. Assign the second 20, the third 30, and so on. After this initial assignment of numbers, adding a new customer is simple. Just find him on the map and assign him an appropriate unused number. If he is located between number 20 and 30, assign him 25. It does not matter whether this new job will be done on the same day as 20 or 30. That is scheduling. What does matter is that this customer's property is between 20 and 30 and should have a corresponding routing sequence number. You can now enter the appropriate routing sequence number for this job. The routing sequence numbers will determine which job will come out at the top and which on the bottom of that day's route sheet. The lower the routing sequence number, the closer to the top of the route sheet the job will appear. And of course, the higher the number, the closer to the bottom the job appears. Eventually, as your company grows, you will run out of in-between numbers and will have to use the Renumber Route Numbers feature found in the Files submenu of CLIPxe. The Map Location field allows you to enter the page and grid number of your map for this job. This map location will print out on the route sheets to help your crews find their way to this job. The map location is not used by CLIPxe, so it is optional. The min and max fields apply only to jobs that are part of a contract. Many companies use the range option in their contracts. The contract might specify that the job will be done at least 26 times, but not more than 28 times. If the job is done more than the 28, then CLIPxe should automatically charge for the job. This field is not used if the job is not contract. If the min and the max do not apply to a particular contract job, set the max to 999 and uncheck the times checkbox. If this is not set up properly, it may affect some of the reports later on. CLIPxe maintains the done to date automatically. Increasing it by 1 each time the job is recorded and posted. Each year, you will want to reset this back to 0 using the end of year feature. CLIPxe will print the min, max, and done to date on your route sheets and summary sheets. In the charge per job field, enter the dollar amount you will charge for the job. This amount is the amount you charge before taxes. For the CLIPxe version, QuickBooks will automatically calculate and add tax to your customer's account. In the CLIPxe version, CLIPxe will calculate and add tax to your customer's account as long as you have set up the tax areas and rates. Even for contract jobs, always enter the dollar value. Even though the charge for contract jobs are covered by the customer's installment, you'll still need to enter the value of the job in the charge per job. CLIPxe knows not to charge for the service if the bill type is marked as including contract. For contract work, the value of the job is the amount that you are actually making each time the job is done. This is the total money brought in by the job divided by the total number of times the job is done. The Calc 1 button next to the field can help you in calculating the charge per job per contract customers. Example, Mr. Scully pays you $100 a month to cut his lawn, and your season is 8 months long. The total money brought in by the job is $800. You determined that he requires 28 mowings in a season. To determine the value of the job, divide 800 by 28 mowings to give you an actual value of $28.57 per mowing. This $28.57 is the amount you will enter into the charge per job field. Mr. Scully will never see this figure as long as this job is part of contract. The man-hour rating is the maximum number of man-hours this job can take for you to still make your dollars per man-hour goal. You will use the man-hour rating to help you determine exactly how profitable each of your jobs are. To determine the man-hour rating, take the charge divided by your company man-hour goal. You can use the Calc 2 to assist you. So if the charge is $28.57 to the customer and we are trying to make $40 per hour, we divide the $28.57 by 40 to come up with 0.71 of an hour. This means that one man has 42 minutes to drive and perform the job. Even if you have more than one person working on the job, the man-hour rating is still calculated for one person. When you print the enhanced route sheet, it will show the appropriate time for more than one person. If this is a time and material job, you will fill in the charge per hour with your hourly rate. When you record the work, CLIPxe will calculate the charge by taking the actual time spent times your hourly rate. The bill type allows you to bill 4 different ways. The first is per service, which means each time you do a job, a per time price is charged. The time and materials option means CLIPxe will take the actual time spent on the job and multiply it times the hourly rate to come up with the charge. The prepay option will not charge the customer for the service because the service was already paid for. Include in contract is only an option if you have already made this an installment customer from the Financials Installment tab. Include in contract is for installment customers which may have some jobs that are part of the contract and some that are not part of the contract. By selecting the Include in Contract, CLIPxe will not charge for this job when it is done, since the charges for doing the job are covered by the monthly installment. Each time you record it as done, CLIPxe will enter a 0 charge for this job, unless you have exceeded the maximum jobs. The per service jobs will be charged to the customer's account at the time they are recorded and will show up on the billing. The job area allows you to enter the measurement of the job. This could be square foot, linear feet, cubic feet for mulch, etc. The job area will print on your route sheets, summary sheets, and work projections report. Having this field on the work projections report is especially useful to the chemical applicator. It will tell you how many square feet to plan for. The average time field is updated by CLIPxe each time you record this job is done. CLIPxe takes the previous average time, multiplies it by the previous done to date, adds the new time, and divides by the new done to date. This maintains an accurate average of the time it takes to do this job. We will now select the Job Scheduling tab. The explanations of the fields in the scheduling screen are given in detail in the pattern job tutorial when you set up your pattern jobs. Refer to that section if needed to set up the scheduling for the job you are now adding. Most commonly, you will want to use the at least days in between jobs option. 4 equals once a week, 11 is every other week, 18 is every 3 weeks. The only thing you will need to change is the next visit date to when you will start doing this service. And select the day of the week that this will be done. Then we save our changes. If you have additional information specifically tied to this job you're adding, you have 4 separate note fields to use. To add to any one of them, select the Notes tab on the top of the screen. The route sheet notes will print on the route sheet for the crew each time it is scheduled. The limited route sheet notes allows you to put temporary notes on the route sheets. The invoice notes will print on the customer's invoice each time the job is done. Internal job notes are for your use only. We now have completed the setup for the first job. You now need to repeat this procedure for all the other jobs that you perform for this customer. A few reminders. You should have all the customer and job information gathered before you start the process. Use a pattern or master form for customers to speed up entry and consistency. Always use the Copy Jobs option when adding jobs to a customer. Never add a blank or change the description. Job 1 description should be the same for every customer in your database. And lastly, enter the data accurately.